Welcome to Friday. This is week 2, and what we have today is a shell pasta with minced meat. Now today we have ground pork, but you can certainly substitute that for chicken or any other ground meat. And what we are going to do is we are going to fold some salt, baking soda into the meat with some water and keep it for 10 minutes. So in the recipe we have 8 ounces of ground meat, but in the package I have 16. So what I've done is I have doubled everything other than the pasta. So we are going to use 8 teaspoons of water. And then we'll add the salt. So let's add the salt first here and baking soda. So the baking soda does 2 things. One is it will break down the meat, but also it will help it brown. So I want to put in 8 teaspoons of water in this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will mix this salt and baking soda up so that the salt dissolves. So you can see the salt has dissolved and we have mixed in the baking soda. So at this point we will put the ground meat in and we'll slowly fold the meat and the water. You can see that I've folded in the salt and the baking powder and the water into the meat. I'll keep this in the fridge for 10 minutes. We put the meat in the fridge, so that's marinating. While that's marinating, let me show you the rest of the ingredients for today. So we're doing shell pasta, so I have a packet of 1 pound of shell pasta. I have shredded, this is Parmesan, so we'll put that in the end. I have white wine. This is 2 types of mushrooms, portobello and shiitake. So in the recipe you have cremini, but what we're using is shiitake. So that's minced in the food processor. And then we have some garlic and some rosemary. And then we have some cream and parsley and some nutmeg. And then obviously the oil. We'll grease a plate and put the meat on top of that. So that will help us to put it in the skillet when we are cooking and then turning and so on, and then we'll show you how to cook it. Meat has been resting for 10 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to add half of the rosemary into this, half of the garlic, and the nutmeg. And then what we'll do is at this point we are going to mix it together till it's a little tacky. Mix it well with your spatula and do that, right? So you pull it together, so then it will become tacky. What that will do is help it keep together when you're frying. So I have a skillet that I have been heating up. So we'll put a little bit of oil and then we will fry this. It doesn't need to be cooked fully because it will cook later on, but the idea here is to get a good browning. So that's what we will do. But this is, like you can see, this is very tacky. So what we will do is we'll grease this with oil. So I have Pam spray here. If you don't have Pam, just use regular oil and then just spray it. The best way to spray it is in the sink so it doesn't go anywhere. We're going to transfer this and form a patty. About 6-7 inches, a little bit more, depending on, you don't want this to be too thick or too thin. So, depending on how much meat you have, the patty size might be a little bigger or a little smaller. What we will do is, so that looks like a good even patty, and so we'll cook this till it's brown. In the meantime, I have pasta water also boiling, so we'll cook the pasta. So let's go and cook. I'm going to put about 3 teaspoons of oil here. So this is hot. And then we are going to slide this in. And that's the reason why we had greased the plate. We wanted to cook fire so that it gets that crust on the bottom. So this should take about 3-4 minutes on each side. You really want it to be golden brown, and it doesn't need to cook thoroughly. So it has been 2-3 minutes now. So let's see how this looks on the other side. Oh, it has created a beautiful crust. So again, I turned it over. So another 2-3 minutes on this side, and then we'll take it out and we will slice it into small pieces, and we'll put cream onto it. Pasta water is boiling, and this is 1 pound of shell pasta. So we're going to, and I put salt into it. So I'm going to put this in and stir it. If you remember, I told you that anytime you put pasta into water, you need to stir it so that it doesn't stick. So this should take around 8 to 10 minutes. Let it come to a boil quickly. So you want it on high heat, and then we'll come back to this. Let's look at the meat right now and see if there is a crust on the other side too. No, I think we need a little bit more time on that other side. Turn over the patty. It's browned really well, so we will take this off, cut it into pieces and soak it in heavy cream. We're going to cut it into pieces. It doesn't have to be even, just cut it into small pieces. You can see that the inside is still raw. That's okay because we are going to cook it in the sauce. So we're going to make the sauce after this, but before that we're going to put this meat in the cream and let it soak. So that's about it. We can put it in the bowl. So I cut this up and I'm putting the cream in here. We're going to mix it and let it soak while we cook the sauce and the pasta. The pasta is done. To drain this, I'm going to keep about 1.5 cups of water. Heating the pan here, And I'm going to put a tablespoon of oil. So I'll take the oil from the sausage because that has a lot of flavor, and then I'll add another tablespoon. So that's about 2 tablespoons of oil here. I'm going to add the mushrooms. So this is under medium-high heat. And a little bit of salt. Let it sweat for a few minutes till it's brown. This has been for a couple of minutes, and you can see it has browned a little bit. The water has vanished and it's giving off a beautiful smell. So at this point I want to add a little bit more oil, maybe half a tablespoon or one teaspoon. So because I have a little bit more than what is in the recipe, I want to add a little bit more oil to this. So that's about a tablespoon of oil. So at this point we're going to add the rest of the garlic, the rosemary, and a healthy portion of black pepper. And then this should take just a couple of seconds to get fragrant. So now we're going to add the white wine and deglaze the pan. And then cook down the wine. So turn it to high and cook it down. So the wine has evaporated mostly. There's a little bit left. So at this point we're going to add our meat and cream mixture to this. And we'll cook this till the meat is fully cooked, and we'll break up the meat a little bit so that the shell, it can go into the shell pasta. As it cooks, it'll break up, or will break up a little bit. And so once this is fully cooked, then we'll add the pasta to this. And if we need a little bit of water, we'll add the reserved pasta water, and we'll season it. So the meat has cooked. I put a little bit of the pasta water into this. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to slowly add in the cheese. So little by little, I want to add in the cheese so that it forms a beautiful, thick and creamy sauce. Make sure that there are no lumps. So the cheese is all incorporated. So I'll add the lemon juice at this point and mix it. And then I want to add the pasta. And then fold the pasta in. I think it needs a little bit of water. So we'll use the pasta water. Break up the pieces where it's stuck together. And then, so just add a little bit of water here, because this will, again with the cheese, this will thicken up, and the pasta water has starch, and that's about it. So then we're going to garnish this with parsley, and then mix it and then serve it with a little bit more cheese. Ready with the pasta. I'm going to put in most of the parsley here, just a little bit. I'll keep to garnish, and mix this together. So you can see that, you know, I put in all the pasta water that I had. Sauce has become really, you know, thickened by the pasta water. So this is looking really good. So then I will serve it. Ready to serve. So we're going to put in a little bit more parsley here. A little bit more cheese. And what I'd like to do is I like to finish it off with a little bit of really good olive oil. Just a tad bit, not too much. And that's it. Thank you for joining this week. We will have another round of different recipes for next week. So please tune in on Sunday to see the prep, and then Monday to Friday we'll again cook different dishes. Hopefully you're enjoying these cooking and you are cooking yourselves. Please subscribe and comment on the videos, and certainly share with your friends. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend and see you next week.